Hey everyone, welcome back to Indicted TV. I'm your host Negra. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. Also, we gotta give a quick shout out to my sponsors, Royalty Honey. Keep it hard, guys. And if you do not want to be on my channel and you want to stay home, make sure you hire attorney Rosenberg. On today's episode, we have Sandie. Welcome to Indicted TV, Sandie.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No, of course. All right, so we're going to start. You're going to tell me a little bit about yourself, you know, where you grew up, the inside of your house. Everybody always makes fun of me because I always say, hey, how was the inside of your house? Instead of asking how was, your household or whatever. But I don't like to ask that way. I want to know the way your inside of the house was, like, you know, who was there, brothers, sisters, mom, things like that.
Okay, so I grew up in Northeast LA. Highland Park.
You're from Nella.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Highland Park. I went to, Garbanza, Burbank, Franklin, and all that until I got kicked out of Franklin, of course. And then I moved out to La Palma in Orange County.
Okay.
So I've been there. So it's been half and half of my life. You know what I mean? LA and then Orange County. I grew up with my sister, rest in peace.
I'm sorry.
She passed away 8 months ago.
Oh, really, really soon.
Really, really soon, yeah.
My deepest condolences.
Thank you. And my mom, she was a single mom,
So just the three of you guys?
Just the three of us.
Just like myself. It was just the three of us, my sister, my mom, and I.
Single parent, huh?
Yes.
Yes. That's how I was with my mom. She used to work out in Orange County, so
okay.
I had a lot of downtime to myself.
Yeah, I know how
Which
that
is
goes.
why I grew up in the streets, But, yeah, it was tough. It was tough, but I got through it. Here I am.
At what age did you see yourself kind of changing, like that you wanted to, like you started getting in trouble and things like that? Or did you get in trouble? Or how did that go for you?
You know what? It started very early on just because, my childhood wasn't the greatest, I went through the whole sexual, physical, verbal, emotional abuse.
As a young
As
person?
a child, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I think what really, really changed me was like going through like the sexual abuse from 7 to 9.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I think that's when just my life just took a whole turn.
I mean, I could imagine.
Yeah.
I could imagine.
I started doing bad in school. I just really didn't care for it anymore. I know once I hit Burbank, it was over. Once I hit middle school, it was a wrap. I started using, you know what I mean? I started hitting the streets.
Hitting the streets, when you say that, what do you mean by that?
Like I started running the streets. Like I started, leaving home. I ended up joining like a party crew at the time.
What year was this?
This was back, oh my God. Let me see. I was like, what? 13, 14.
Okay, if you don't mind me asking, we're going to ask a lady how old she is, guys.
I'm 33.
Oh, you're young. Okay. There's party crews still at those years?
Yes. And it was, I don't know if you recall, it was like vicious ladies and stuff like that back in the days,
I'm 41.
Oh,
and
no way.
I started the party crews in 1996.
Oh,
so it's
okay.
completely different. That's why I was like,
Yeah.
wait, there's still party crews?
Yeah, there was.
Okay.
And we ended up kind of like shutting down because something, we lost
Always.
one of the girls at a warehouse. You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
She lost her life. So it just became a big old thing and it just kind of like disintegrated from there.
But you were still on drugs and things like that.
Yes,
Got it.
tough. I started using meth at a very young age, between 11 and 12. It was like my escape. You know what I mean?
Of course, especially after what you went through.
Yeah. And like the thing about it was that like I never had anybody to confide in like that, and I never wanted to worry my mom just because she had gone through, a domestic violence relationship at the time. Okay. You know what I mean? We ended up escaping that. She got, my sister and I away from that. Unfortunately, it was her dad, that we had to leave. But
Your sisters.
Yeah. Yeah. And after that, that's how we ended up in Highland Park because I used to live, well, it was always back and forth, you know what I mean? From Pomona and there. But basically, I was raised in Highland Park. And yeah, I had to, grow up really fast. I had to help my mom take care of my sister, things like that. So, yeah.
Your mom tried.
She tried. Yeah, she really did. I didn't end up coming out about my whole, abuse until I was like 13, I think.
Oh, so you didn't tell her why it was happening?
No, she didn't understand.
God.
No, she was just like, what's going on? I remember she found me once at 13, like super drunk at her house and girl off of Smirnoffs. It was horrible. one of my neighbors was like, I guess, throwing it out, and I got it, and a friend of mine, we were drinking or whatever. So when my mom got home, the crazy thing is she had gone on a date that night. So when she came home, her like boyfriend came home to a bottle going over his head. Because I was like, why are you bringing men to the house? I was just a wild
Is that what
child.
you told her?
Yes.
If you don't, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, how did that happen to you?
It was.
If you're comfortable speaking about
No,
it.
yeah, I am.
Okay.
That's one thing about prison. You know what I mean? I'll tell you, like, not to fast forward, but that's when I ended up getting my mental help. You know
Okay.
what I mean? I started
Yes.
seeking counseling and all of that, and that's really what helped me. So I'm able to speak on it now. So my mom, she was going to school to become a dental assistant and things like that. So a lot of my time I had to like spend with my stepdad, He had a sporting goods, business and stuff like that. So the whole thing with that was that like my mom couldn't tell another bruise on my body because we were both getting beat up. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
We were both
yes.
going through it. Like she would be protecting
sorry.
me and I would be protecting her type of thing. So it's like if she would come home and there was another bruise on my body, she wasn't able to tell. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So then, with the sexual abuse, obviously it comes with like, oh, you better not tell her. Like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill her,
course.
And me
yeah,
actually being that young and seeing how he would like beat on her and hurt her, like,
You were scared.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, my goodness. I'm
Yeah,
so sorry.
So, yeah, it's fine. I guess it's something that I don't want to say I had to go through, you know what I mean? But it helped me become who I am today.
I get
You know
it.
what I mean? And having kids now, it's like, I thank God that my, kids have never gone through anything like that.
Of course.
We're always protecting them. But
Yes.
yeah, it was tough, and I think it was just the point where like my mom didn't know what to do with me anymore. She didn't understand what was going on. I know she knew about the physical, but I don't think it ever crossed her mind of the sexual. Yeah.
Yeah. That's tough. That's tough. I'm
It
sorry.
is.
I'm sorry. Did you ever like get in trouble as a young kid? As far as like, did you ever get arrested? Did you go to juvenile hall?
No, you know what? Surprisingly, I didn't.
That's good.
I remember I did.
You never left your sister then.
No, never. Not until I got older. I remember, the cops did pull up on me in Franklin. One time my mom called the cops on me, but because I was skipping school a lot.
Okay.
And it was kind of like you either get your act together or you're going to have to pay for all these, days that you've been missing and stuff like that. I'm like, well, she can pay it, They were like, no, you're going to pay it with either juvie time or out of your pocket. I was a young kid. How was I going to pay for it, But, yeah, no, surprisingly, I never got arrested or anything like that back then. Mm-hmm.
You never left your sister, which
Never.
is, things happen for reasons. You were running wild, but you were still there to
Taking care of her. Yeah.
taking care of your sister and help your mom. Because I'm sure going through what she went through. And as far, I'm a woman, so I've been there as well. So
Right.
I understand. And I guess we don't understand until we get older.
Right.
Right. And we see things for what they really are,
Honestly.
Yeah.
I never understood then what I understand now. And after becoming a parent myself, it's like, okay, now I get it. Now I understand my mom's struggle. You know what I mean?
I do know.
And I think back then I was just kind of like, it was more of like, well, why doesn't she pay attention? Or why isn't she here? And things like that. Well, of course, my mom was a single parent. Nobody was helping her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like she was able to live off the government or anything like that.
They probably didn't even want to give her any. Yeah, like
It was
my mom. They
so
never
hard for
wanted to
her.
give her any.
Anything, and it was crazy. I was just like, that, I don't know, and she wasn't even getting child support or anything like that, so my mom had it rough. I gotta give it to that lady, she had it really rough.
Do you have a relationship with her still?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I think it was always rough, obviously growing up, because I feel like I blamed her a lot for a lot of things that happened to me, but our relationship got better when I went to prison. For sure.
I know exactly what you mean.
For sure, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you're obviously on Indicted TV, right?
Right.
Tell us, what did you go to prison for? Because you obviously said you didn't get in trouble, you didn't go to juvenile hall. Did you ever just get arrested and go to the county and come home? Or or you getting this charge was your only time actually going to jail?
Yes. So I basically just, how they say go big or go home. I kind of went big with all of this, not realizing how serious it was, what I was doing, So I ended up getting arrested. I got out 4 days. Well, I got out right away. I bailed out right away. They only gave me like a $50,000 bond. I was able to pay that. But 4 days later, I got arrested again. But instead of it being like, how can I explain it? Like,
Well, what did you get arrested for the first time, though?
The first time was for assault with a deadly weapon and robbery.
Okay.
Yes, a few of them. So I was like, a few of them, yeah. And I got out. I managed to get out right away because Dana Point picked me up the first time, you know? And then after that, I didn't realize it was cities coming after me. It wasn't just even like the people that I was, you know, doing these things to. It was just mostly like the cities that were coming after me now, you know? And then after that...
What were you robbing?
Well... Okay, just to clarify, this is the old me, okay? This is the old Sandie. Well, I was stripping for a while. Okay. I started stripping at, very young age and stuff like that. And then doing the whole stripping thing, I started looking on Craigslist. I was trying to find different strip clubs, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, okay, I already have LA burnt out. I have OC burnt out. So I'm like, let me start looking. Well, on Craigslist, I came upon this ad that said like getting like $1,000, like from $500 to $1,000 a night, for being a dancer, a private dancer or whatever. Well, there was an escorting ad, you know what I mean? And I kind of got myself into that, And the girl that actually ended up training me wasn't like the greatest trainer of all, you know what I mean?
What can you really be training? I don't like... Training you in what form, like to do what or what?
Okay, so let me just clarify, because escorting, it means, companionship. A lot of, people have the wrong idea that escorting is like you're hoeing or, it all falls under the same category, sex worker, you know what I mean? Yes. But what you decide to do as an escort is up to you, you know what I mean? But really what escorting is
you're gonna go sit down and have a dinner with somebody.
Yeah, so companionship, right?
Whatever, however you want to phrase it. It's not all right,
Yeah, so...
My opinion.
So what it was is that I started doing like private shows, you know what I mean? So the first 2 nights that this girl took me, I noticed that she was just kind of like, giving hand jobs, things like that. Her get down was very different,
Yeah.
My whole thing is like, I just wanted to get this money, So I'm like, I'm good at what I do. So let me just do it like privately. I could do parties or I could do closed.
So dangerous.
It really was. I ran into so much, so many like life and death experiences.
Tell me one. I know you normally ask, hey, what was the craziest thing you seen or whatever while you're in prison? But in this experience, like, what was the craziest thing that happened to you?
Let me tell you.
That's like super traumatizing. I'm sorry that I even have to bring it up or even say it, but we're here.
No, because honestly, and you know what, I'm very like.
And for the girls that watch and want to be in this lifestyle, like, because some, we live in the era where these young girls don't want to work hard.
Yeah.
They just think money's going to come in. It does. But that money ain't going to last you, baby.
It will not.
And you're going to hit 30 and 35 and 40 and you ain't going to look the same.
Right.
No matter how much surgery you have.
Right.
Because you're just going to look more stretched.
Yeah, and not just
no offense, ladies. I'm a little plastic myself. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's true. And like a lot of, young ladies glorify this lifestyle, you know what I mean? Of being a stripper and, you know what I mean? The BBLs and the body and the money and, who you know and what you know and things like that, But it's not everything it seems, And I honestly feel like I've had many, but the worst one that really just traumatized me was ending up they used to call them a show, when they used to book you. Like, I used to work for an agency that used to book like my shows for me, okay. Right? So mind you, like, I'm not knowing what the booker is telling these Johns, because that's what we call them, right?
Yes, of course.
So I'm just the pretty face that's showing up, pretty much. You know what I mean?
Anything about anything?
No, they're just telling me, look, this is where it's at. This is his name. This is the amount, and this is what you're going to do. It's for a massage. It's for a private dance or whatnot. That's what they're telling me, but I don't know really what they're telling them, So when I'm getting there, I remember I ended up at this hotel in, where was it? I think I want to say it was by Riverside, if I'm not mistaken, right? And I remember pulling in. That day I was not supposed to work, okay? But here they go calling me. I was, one of their bottom bitches, Excuse my French.
I know.
You know what I mean? So they were like, hey, there's this show. You want to come through? Blah, 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 this and that. Because they knew we were going to get that money for sure. So I'm like, okay, it's my night off. But I'm like, whatever. Let's get this money, right? So I happened to be with like my driver, his brother, and his brother's girlfriend. We were double dating that night. And I show up. Mind you, I never go out with anything. I always have something, whether
protect yourself.
Yeah, always, you know. And I remember that night, I was just kind of like, I don't have anything. Should we really do it?
You already
like,
felt the no part.
yeah, you know how when you just you have that feeling, but I'm just like, it's gonna be fast. We're just gonna come in and out type of thing, right? And she's like, it's just a quick dance. It's just a private dance for, you know, an hour or whatever, and you're out. So I'm like, all right, it was $1,000, you know.
And you
so
just
I was
waited
like,
outside. Your friends just waited outside.
Yeah, they were just waiting for me outside. So mind you, I already had that feeling, but whatever. I end up going in. I see this guy, he's dressed nice. He's a bald, tall guy. I swear I thought he was Samoan, you know what I mean? But he was like light skinned, white guy or whatever. He was dressed in like this flannel, like dress and press type of thing, right? So I pull up, he brings me inside. Girl, as soon as I walk into the hotel, I realized there was nothing there. Like, there was nothing. You know how sometimes they have like their luggage, their clothes, whatever it is, right? The beds were made or whatnot. So I walk in and right away I'm like, damn, I don't have a good feeling about this, right? As soon as he closed the door, I noticed he put on the latch, the top latch, right? So at this point, I'm just like, damn, can I use your restroom type of thing, right? So he's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. But I go in the restroom to text my driver. I'm like, yo, like something's wrong. Like, I need to get out of here. I even text the agency. Yeah. And I was like, I can't go through with this show. Like, I'm out. I'm leaving, So I come out of the restroom or whatever, and his whole demeanor just changes. Like, you could just see, like...
The evilness?
Yeah, and the agitation and, like, his frustration, So I'm just like, okay, well, you know what? I said, unfortunately, I'm going to have to cancel, but I can get another girl here for you, So he was like, no, I don't want another girl, And at this point, things start going up, I'm texting my driver. I'm like, you need to get me out of here. Like, I need to go, So he's like, who are you texting? Da-da-da-da. Like, woo-dee-woo-dee-woo. Long story short, I didn't know that there had been another girl there before me from another agency. And I guess that girl ended up robbing him. So when he called me...
So he's nervous trying to protect himself from you.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, he had called another girl to see if he was going to get the same girl back in there.
He wanted her.
Yes, So I ended up walking in instead, not realizing what had happened before that, So it was already planned. Like he
wanted to hurt the girl.
Yeah, And at this point, he was just like, okay, it wasn't the girl that, got him for the money, but now it's another one and that person's me. So at this point, he's like, you're not going anywhere. Like he literally grabs there was like a little table type of thing. He puts it under the door handle.
Oh.
And at this point, I'm just like, oh my God, how am I going to get out of here? So I'm calling my, I'm calling them to get in here. I just text 911. When I text 911 to them, that means get me out. The agency's calling me at this point. I'm like trying to put my phone in. Girl, I'm like dressed with, this little shirt, this little crop top, like I was out on a date. So it's like, you know what I mean? I'm wearing heels, these, long, jeans, whatever. So at this point, I'm like, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? I'm trying to walk out. The guy grabs me. When he grabs me, he literally grabs me on a chokehold. You know what I mean? Mind you, he's huge. Yes. He looked like one of those Samoan guys. So as he's like choking me out, he literally has me by his arm. Okay. I'm dangling. I'm little. You know what I mean? Like compared to him, I was little. So at this point, I'm fighting for my life. You know what I mean? I could feel my phone going off. I could hear them banging on the door. It was a security guard from the hotel. It was, the guy that I was with, his brother and the girlfriend, So they're banging. They're trying to get in through the door or whatever. At this point, I'm fighting for my life. Like every time he let me go to breathe, he would literally grab me again and start choking me out again, So I didn't have anything on me. So what was I defending myself with?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At this point, all I remember is this man getting on top of me and just squeezing my throat, And I gave up. I literally was like, that's it. I'm going to die tonight.
Goodness.
You know what I mean? Like, why did I come? I should have known better type of thing. And next thing you know, like, I remember just like my eyes rolling back. And by the grace of God, they managed to break the door open. So as soon as that door, like, flew open, they flew inside and they started like, bombing on him and all these other things. And like, I managed to get my breath back, But girl, I literally felt like I was dying that day. I was
that is like super scary.
Yeah, I even told him like, I have kids. Like, and that's when he confessed to me that somebody else had robbed them before me. You
can't even be mad at him.
I couldn't, because I was like,
be mad at him,
But I knew that I should have never taken that job, and I knew I should have not taken that show either. I was out minding my business. Like, for $1,000, it was not that serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just ended up being where they ended up beating him. We ended up leaving, and I just remember like getting home and like, laying down with my babies and just crying. I didn't cry the whole time this was happening. I think I was more in shock.
Of course.
You know what I mean? That it was once I got home that I just kind of like dawned on me that like I could have died. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like my neck was like so bruised. It was disgusting. It was horrible.
Do you feel like that brought back certain trauma of what you experienced when you were younger?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, the thing was that like I had been in abusive relationships already. You know what I'm saying? So I had never gotten choked like that. You know what I mean? But like this man was really like going into like
no, for sure. Like
he didn't even care.
Like he already flipped somewhere else. Like mentally. Like
and you could just see it in his eyes. Yeah. It's like this man was ready to go to jail, ready to just end somebody's life for the money. Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's like we know that that's something that like can happen to us when we're doing these things. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not like I'm oblivious to it. Like I knew what it was, I just never thought it would happen to me like that, Yeah. So yeah, I was just like, but you know what? The sad thing about it, I'm not even gonna lie, it didn't even stop me from going.
Well, no, because continue. I was about to say, clearly we haven't even got to the part.
I think I took some time off. Like I think I probably took like 2 weeks off, and I went back. I started doing the same thing. But again, like I was a single mom too, like I left my mom's house because I was like, I have 2 kids by then. You know what I mean? Same baby's dad. He wasn't helping me. He was, doing his own thing. Who can I expect from a gangster? You know what I mean? Like,
well, no, don't say that, girl. It's not what can you expect from a gangster. I don't like that shit, because it just depends what type of man you choose.
Honestly,
because it could be from that's a man itself, not because he's a gangster, bitch.
No, right? No, you're right. You're right. No, you're right. You're right. It really doesn't matter. A man is gonna be a man, and he's
like it's just the kind of person, the kind of man he is. Like, did he use drugs? Like,
yeah, definitely. And like we were young too, that, so yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I had my first baby at 18. Yeah. My bad. Okay. Let me rephrase that.
So what happened? Like you said, you kept doing this work, and what led you to go to prison? Your case.
So I
said you were robbing, right?
Yes. So basically,
but you didn't rob this fool.
No, obviously not. He damn near robbed me from my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yes, okay, so I took some time off, to kind of recover from that. And I was just like, you know what, whatever. Like, we got to get this money, I kept stripping for a little bit, but I seen that there was obviously more money here than there was there. I was getting paid really good, just for doing dances and things like that, like the whole... Girl, I made up me being what is it called? A masseuse. I brought my own rocks and stuff like that. I bring out my own little things. Yeah, so I was like,
it, huh?
Yeah, I could get into this, But just my whole thing was like, I'm not hoeing for this money. Like, I was, shout out to the sex workers because home money's for sure money, but that just wasn't me. Like, I wasn't going to do that, And a lot of people get it confused because they were like, well, you're showing your ass and your coochie, you know what I mean, for money. So what's the difference? There's a big difference. I'm not laying up for this money. You know what I mean? Like, they're paying just to see what they can't touch,
However you want to put it is however you put it.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? So it's like, some people don't understand that. Like, a lot of women came for me for that, for being like, well, you're still a hoe type of thing. Whatever, people are going to see how they want to see it,
Yeah.
So yeah, I went back or whatever. And then it just, unfortunately, a lot of these guys, they're calling at 2, 3, 4 in the morning. They're not calling to have, a cup of tea or a cup of coffee with you, And so I'm like, okay, I knew what I was getting myself into. But I made sure to let them know, like, hey, I'm not here, for this. I'm here for whatever the ad says, which was like them a private dance, whatever. And we would get into it, whatever, woo-woo-woo. But then in the moment, of course, they're hot and bothered. Now they want to, okay, well, if you want,
more money.
No, if you want one like that, I can get you one. I can get somebody else to come in.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because there's full service escorts. You know what I mean? So it's like I can have someone else come in, But they would get it into their mind. They're just like, no, I don't want someone else. I want you, type of thing. But I'm like, okay, well, I'm not here for that, So then it would become an issue, and it would be like, okay.
I'm sure that was an issue all the time, right?
Sometimes, not all the time.
Pissed.
Yeah, But the thing is, hold on. But let me tell you, as soon as I walked in, I let them know what it was.
Yeah, I get it.
That's one thing, because I already knew what it could escalate to. I didn't want those problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I would let them know from jump.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave you hot, and bothered, bro.
I'm gonna leave you blue balls and I'm gonna bounce. No, but they knew what they were paying for, the rates, and everything's different, right? But I would also let them know. I was also with somebody at the time, like an ex-girlfriend of mine that would actually do full service work. So we did a lot of, shows together. Yeah. So it's like if I wasn't available, well, she was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could pay her a little more for whatever. So it just got to the point where it's like, no, they didn't want her sometimes. They just wanted me. Okay, well, at this point, they don't want to pay me the rest of the money. Okay, let's say I went in there for like a private dance. It was $1,000. I would let them give me $500 up front, and then the rest, again, because they've had experiences with other escorts or whatever the case was, So I would be like, okay, I'm gonna give you the benefit of doubt. So you can trust me, I'm gonna trust you. Like, this is how it's gonna work. Give me half up front and then the other half when we're done. So it just got to the point where like, okay, now I don't know. Now I want more. Like, here, I'll pay you more for that. I'm like, no, just give me what you owe me. I'll be on my way, or I'll get you somebody else. Girl, it became an issue to where like they wouldn't want to pay up. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's where I have a driver for. Because a lot of the times they thought I was by myself. They see this girl coming in heels, looking, like I was looking, and they thought they wouldn't have to pay me. So eventually, my driver would come in and have to like, he would be like, okay, you have to pay up now. So it became a thing where like they would either put up a fight, you know what I mean? Or they would just easily pay up. And obviously when they would put up a fight, things went south. Always. Really bad, And then eventually, some of these guys were, calling the cops and things like that. And the crazy thing is, sometimes we would still be there when the cops would arrive. And because I had an escorting license, I wouldn't get in trouble.
Is such a thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if it's still now. But it was then. You had to have an escorting license. When you worked for escorting, like a business or a agency, you had to have your escorting license.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was like $150 back then.
What? This is like so crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's a whole different world.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm all amazed.
Yeah, you would be surprised,
What?
Mm-hmm. So it's like, the officer would be like, you know what, you shouldn't have to be doing this, blah, blah, blah. This is dangerous.
Yeah, because
like,
they're getting more money than what you're taking home no matter what.
Right. So it just became a thing where like, okay, well now, unfortunately we're taking them for more than what, they were supposed to pay up, and then it becomes a robbery because now you're taking them, for things that you should have never taken them for. And
okay, I see where you're going.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So eventually, the John started, giving description of us, or calling the cops, letting them know what happened. And some situations, things happened where either they got maced or things were brought out, whatever, whatnot. So at this point, I'm not knowing that I was doing this in LA for a minute. You know what I mean? Not once did I get caught up. I came out to Orange County, girl, within a month. I had like 7 different cities after me. You know what I mean? Because it was like...
Because you're all white dudes?
Some of them, yeah. You know what I mean? And they're like, I had producers. I had, just, you would be surprised with the type of people that were calling,
Well,
like...
I feel like men would have like extreme money or feel so entitled. And they feel like, oh, well, I'm going to give you my money, so I need to do whatever I need to do.
Or I'm so-and-so, and you need to do, you know what I mean? You need to treat me like this.
Sure.
Right.
You still can't get it, so.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Here, take a honey pack. You know what I'm saying?
But it was that entitlement, that it was just so like, or there was men like, I'm going to share this one time where like, there was this guy, right? And he wanted me to dress up as like a little girl, like with like tulip pigtails, you know?
I like
and he
that.
literally wanted to take, this was at his house. He wanted to take me into his daughter's room. So at this point,
God,
I
that's a
was
sick
like,
man.
that's weird, right? And there's, you know, he has a portrait of his family, his kids and all of that. So at this point, I'm like, bro, like, I feel like I need to call like CPS or something on him because that's weird, you know? He was like this Indian guy.
You probably got like a super flashback there too, huh?
So I left. I mean, I didn't even, obviously I didn't do any of that. I was just kind of like, okay, call yourself somebody else because this is sick to me. Like, this is weird, you know? He had told me that his family was out on like visiting like their, his mother-in-law or whatnot somewhere, right? So at this point, I'm just like, no, I'm not doing this. This is hella weird, you know? So I left, whatever. But it's things like that that kind of just triggered me. And it was just like, you know?
No, yeah. You know, I kind of feel... I mean, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying people are, you know, but I feel like any man that has to use an escort, like, you're not all right mentally.
There's something wrong.
Like, you're not all right.
Because, I mean, a regular man would just go out to the bar and, you know, meet or,
Talk,
you know, anywhere,
like,
you know, and talk and meet someone like that, you know. But you're literally on Craigslist,
Being a pervert.
Backpage. You know what I mean?
Just being a pervert.
Yeah. And then there was some situations where like I literally would show up and there was like porno playing on the TV.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm like, okay, I'm not even taking this.
Yeah, because they just want to...
I already know what this is about, you know? And again, like I said, I don't know what the booker's telling him. That at this point, I'm like, I'm not going to put myself in a situation like that.
Did you ever tell the booker people? Like, "Yo, what are you
Yes,
guys
they didn't
doing?"
care. Their thing was just getting the money.
Yeah.
You know? It's like once they booked and they paid for it, because these Johns would have to pay as soon as we got there. You know what I mean? Just for arriving, for getting there.
Yeah.
And then that's when we had to put in the work for our tip or whatever it was.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, I get it.
So they didn't care at that point because they're still getting paid. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So, but there was times where I'm like, no, I'm not taking the show. Because it already looks all bad, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, for the most part, I trusted my gut feeling. You know what I mean? And I went with that. But there was times where obviously, like, I didn't.
Yeah,
and things went bad.
yeah.
So it was just a lot, you know? But, okay, so eventually it became a habit, you know, where I started, you know, doing the most. I love the adrenaline rush that I got from it. I felt like, okay, well, you think you were going to get me? Well, I'm going to get you. Like, this was just like my sick thinking back then, you know? Like, obviously I wasn't right, you know what I mean? But I honestly feel like I needed to go to prison to help me change.
No, of course.
Like, I literally going to prison saved my life. Even though, like, back then, I was like, damn, like, you know, it's like...
Because you were on meth this whole time still.
I was using, yeah, definitely. I was out of control. Literally.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I was literally out of control. And just with everything going on and, you know, so many situations.
So now this job was just now, you're just getting fools.
Yeah, at this point in the end, it became kind of like that, you know?
And that's what you went to prison for. Mm-hmm. What were your actual charges again?
It was robbery, which is the 211 and 145 assault with a deadly weapon.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So how did you get arrested? Like, how did that go?
Well, I didn't know that they were already, there was already like a warrant out for my arrest. They were already looking for us, you know what I mean, for all three of us. And I think what hit it off was like, what was it? There was like a video they put out that they got from the DoubleTree in Santa Ana. And this is out. Like, if you Google me, like, you'll be able to see it. And obviously, you could tell that's me. Like, I'm going in the elevator and I'm going.
Did you always have this blessed? Oh, that ruined your life.
Yeah, but I used to cover it up. I used to wear like little headbands, or I used to I had bangs at a point, you know, and things like that. Or I used to just wear makeup, you know, because I knew it was a straight given. Like, if they were to describe me, oh, she has a huge blessed on her face. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or like my the diamond on my throat was also just instant giveaway, you know? But yeah, that's when I noticed that they had already been looking for me back in January. January was the first time where like the cops were already like, okay, we're looking for these 3 individuals, you know.
What year was this?
2015.
Okay.
So it was like between 14 and 15. Mm-hmm. And by February, I didn't realize they were already staking out my house. Yeah. I was already being followed. I was already being watched and things like that. Well, I remember this morning, I had taken, you know, this person, my co-defendant, you know, I had taken him to school. He was going to culinary school or whatever at the same time, right? We're trying to do good for doing bad. So it was early in the morning. And you know what's so crazy? That I used to live in a gated, like,
Community.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like the apartments were like gated and stuff. But for that week, I noticed that the gates were like just remained open. So I was like, this
When you
never
sit back and
happened.
think about it.
Yeah, now that I see, I mean, when I was in my cell and I was thinking about it, I was like, damn, like, why didn't I pay attention to these signs, right? But again, how could I was just...
You weren't right.
Yeah. So, and I started, once I started putting it together, I started seeing different cars, different unmarked cars parked in my, parking area and things like that. So it made sense, And yeah, I remember that morning when I was getting my kids ready to school. I had already came back from dropping them off. So I'm getting my kids ready to take them to daycare and school. And girl, that's when they pulled up on me. All I hear is like, put your hands up. Like they came in deep. There's like the chopper, you know what I mean? Like all
What about
these.
your kids? Did they take your kids?
No, thankfully, my mom took them. My mom was
They
able
gave you
to
an opportunity to come pick them up.
Yeah,
Good,
they gave me an
good.
opportunity to come pick them up, and yeah, she took them. She came and, by this point, I had already been arrested that first time. This was already the second time where I was just kind of like, my bail went up to $1 million. And I was like, I'm not getting out. I'm just going to fight this. I'm going to do what I have to do and just roll with it. You know what I mean? Because at this point, before 4 days prior to that, that's when I had gotten pulled over right in my complex too. But I just thought it was because I did like a wrong turn or something and the cops were following me. I had no idea it was because of this, like what I was doing, you know? So that's when I managed, Dana Point arrested me that night. And we managed to bail out. I managed to bail out that same day, and
So you never went to jail or anything, really?
not before that.
Yeah, not before when they actually came and arrested you those 4 days after. Where did you go after when they arrested you?
They took me to Santa Ana main jail.
Okay, how was that experience for you?
Oh my God.
Like walking in, like seeing the girls.
It was insane. Like, I mean, because I had already been through that process, like I made it to the
To like jail.
I made it to the general pop the first time before I bailed out,
Okay, quick shit though.
Yeah, it was quick, So I kind of had a feel of what I was getting myself into. But the second time around, I was just kind of like, damn, like this is it for me. Like I'm doing time now, And just seeing everybody there, and you know what? Oh my God, I hated the main job. I hated it. Like, it's just, it was horrible, like the treatment there, the way that like officers, the deputies or whatever, like come at you and talk to you. Like they literally would make fun of my like case because it was still like on and going. Like every time I would come out, like I would go to court, come out on the news. It was like a high profile case, So it was just like even the officers were calling me blessed or like, oh, here's the famous girl for, getting caught for prostitution or, blah, blah, blah. All these stupid things. It was just insane. I hated it there. I really did.
I never met any prostitutes until I started going to jail.
Right.
There's like so many of them.
So many. Yeah, and that's how I found out about beach and ball.
I don't even know what that is.
No, there's like this. Okay, so I had met a lot of hosts from beach and ball, meaning out in Orange County by like, I want to say it's like, kind of like, it's passing Knott's. Have you ever been to Knott's Berry Farm? It's like way down there. It's like there's this street called Beach and Ball. That's where they all stand.
So it's kind of like a fig one.
Yes, kind of. Or like, Long Beach Boulevard.
Yeah, it's kind of like a fig street, and it's kind of like a whole boulevard where there's hoes.
Yes. And that's where they're at. That's where you'll see them and stuff like that. But a lot of them were getting arrested and going to the main jail.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, yeah, my streets are Beach and Ball. And I'm just like, oh, what is that? Like I wasn't familiar with that area like that.
Did you feel like you were better than them?
Never.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like,
Yeah. No, never. I think, like, me just being me and growing up in the streets and stuff like that, like, I've always just, how can I tell? I did not feel sorry for them, but, like, I guess I understood them because it's like, these women have been through so much, like we all have, you know what I'm saying? So I think just, like, humbly, I just respected what they did. Like, I've never felt like I was above anyone. Even when I did have money and I was stripping and doing, living the great life that I was living, it was never like, I never lifted my nose up to anyone,
Got it.
Just because I feel like we're all the same. I used to hate when people used to do that. Like, See,
I kind of feel like now, like, strippers think they're better than other women.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Being in that lifestyle, in that world, like, you'd be surprised. Like, you have like these girls coming in thinking, well, they're the ones that make that money, in there, or they got that, gentleman's club running like that. So it's like they kind of look down on you, like, like move. Get out of my, you know what I'm saying?
I don't like. That's what I don't like.
It's like, why? I've always been one to like empower women. You know what I mean? I've always been about it.
And I know a lot of girls that dance, and I have friends that do dance, and they're not like that.
Right.
But I always tell them, bitch, don't let the strip club get to you and have that stripper mentality.
Right.
The stripper mentalities, they do have
you,
a certain way of thinking. You know what I'm saying, or of being, and I personally don't like it.
Yeah. Right.
Nothing against them. You get your money however you're going to get your money.
Right.
But I don't. It's not shit. I feel like it's like dirty only because you have so much lusting negative energy that goes into you. And, I feel like you just gain all those negative spirits. And
no,
it's
honestly,
just gross.
It just changes you a lot. Like,
because it's lust is the devil.
Yeah, it really is.
So it does change you, But anyways, it's like let's not get that. No offense to my girls.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But don't let it do you. Like the Players Club says, that girl.
Yes. No, honestly,
It's
like
true.
it really is like that. There's other, they call them like OG strippers, or like there's baby strippers and things like that. It's like, once you see like the baby strippers come in, the new strippers, it's like you see the older ones acting like so like towards them, like, oh, because we've been doing this for a long time, or now you're coming in and she's prettier than her, or she's new. You know what I mean? It's like now, she's coming to take my money type of thing. So it's kind of like they make them feel bad, or they're mean. I'm like, for what reason? Like there's enough money out there for everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
so
it's
you're in
just crazy.
Santa Ana. And how long did you fight your case for?
I fought my case for like a year and a half, I want to say.
So you were in Santa Ana this whole time?
Yes.
Did you have visits?
Yeah, definitely. My mom, my sister always came to visit me. My best friend, I always had visits. It was great. I really had a great support system.
Your kids,
yes,
like
definitely. That. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. What was the craziest thing you saw at Santa Ana?
In Santa Ana, let me see. Oh my God, the ODing was insane. Like,
what is the ODing?
Like, because drugs always come and go. You know what I mean? Especially in there, it's so easy to bring it in and stuff like that. And I think I've never, even though I've used drugs before and stuff like I didn't know what heroin was until like really I went into, jail.
Oh, wow. And
I think the worst thing for me was like literally seeing a girl like OD off of heroin.
Yeah, it is sad.
Like she just fell out and like, the girls were screaming, and it was just, I had never just actually seen it, or been through something like that.
It's traumatizing.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like I was just kind of like down, like just to see how easy it is for the drugs to keep flowing in here. You know what I mean? Like it's insane. It's really crazy. But nothing really major in there. Like,
I mean, that's major.
I mean, that is major, But I mean, you would expect, like, how like the men's is all crazy, like from jump, Women's is not really like that. Like, it's just like fights, obviously.
Normal stuff. Girls fighting because, she's being with this girl and things like that,
Yeah. So
what did you get sentenced to?
I ended up, so at the beginning, they were trying to give me 23 to life. And then from there, it went, but you know what? Because they caught me for home invasions at first. Seeing how my charges at first were that, because they were trying to like connect me to other, I guess, how can I say,
other
like
hits, other licks.
Yeah, other things that were happening, you know what I mean, around the same time, but that I had nothing to do with. Like, for example, like in the media, they try to make me out to be like this madam that was running a whole ring of like girls of prostitution, and like that I was setting these girls up in hotels to rob these johns, and things like that. And it was not like that. Like, I actually worked for an agency, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't run my own agency. I didn't do any of that, But that's when I first got the feel of like how social media does people. Like, I mean, not social media, the news, how they do people. And I'm like, that's messed up, like, But, so at first it was just kind of like a home invasion. And I kind of, after the investigation and all of that, they hit me with robberies, And then it went down to 15 years. From 15 years, it went down to 10. Okay. And at this point, they were like, okay, this case has to go. It's been going on for quite some time. Like, it's done, And it's crazy because the day that I went back to sign for the 10 years, I ended up getting a private attorney, mind you. But the private attorney just kind of took my mom's money. You know what I mean? It was insane. There was nothing that the private attorney did for me that the public defender couldn't do for me, in other words. You know? So I remember coming in that day to sign, and the public defender was like, okay, so these are your options. You can get out with time served, but you'll come out with a 9-year joint suspension over your head and probation, you know? So I was like, it was tempting, but I was like, because I would be out, you know? But then
sometimes
really
you got to be smart and think like, man, I got to do the time, because those 9 years, one thing you come home and you just make the wrong turn and you're going back for 9 years.
Yeah, literally. So then after that, what was my other thing? It was the 10 years. They gave 10 years and it was one strike, you know what I mean? Or they hit me with 4 years at 85, but with 2 strikes.
Oh, no.
So
all of these things are all bad.
they are.
What'd you do?
So I took the 4 years with 85 and the 2 strikes.
So you have 2 strikes now.
I do. I have 2 active strikes, and I guess you could say like a silent one or whatever. I really never got into how that works, you know what I mean? But just knowing that I have 2 active ones is bad enough already, you know? But of course, I ended up doing more time because I caught more time in prison. You
know? So you got sentenced to 4 years then?
Yeah.
You got sentenced to 4 years. Where did you go?
I ended up going from Maine. I went to Chowchilla. They sent me up to A-Yard. I was in A-Yard, and then I ended up going over the wall. They I landed on B-Yard. And I was there for a little bit because I have lupus. So because of my medical history and all this stuff, they ended up shooting me down to CIW.
Okay.
You know?
So you were just at Chowchilla for like 6 months or something?
Yeah. I was there for for a short time.
And how was it for you when you first got there, though? Because obviously it's your first time in prison. Like, you don't know anything about prison besides what the girls say and things like that. Like, how was it for you to adjust?
You know what? Like, being in Maine jail for as long as I was, I met a lot of people. And, you know, I'll honestly say, like, I met some of the greatest people in jail. You know what I mean? And at the time, I went up with some of the girls that I had really gotten close to. And so it was like when I hit A-Yard was chaotic.
Why?
I mean,
chaotic in what form?
I felt like there's obviously no, like, how can I explain it? It's nothing like going over the wall. Like, going over the wall, there's structure, there's respect, there's, you know, there's no way of people, like, acting out or trying to... I feel like A-Yard, everybody just goes there to prove themselves. You know, all these little, you know, young women, gang banging and stuff like that, and just starting fights for no reason just to prove that they're big and bad, you know, and they're hitting, you know, A-Yard for first time, and they just, you know, they feel like, I'm here, like, you know,
I get it.
Let me make a name let me make a name for myself type of thing, you know? And, you know, it was just a mess. Like, there was so many fights. And, you know, once we hit A-Yard, it's like, there's no more PCs. And, like, in a sense where, like, if you were a PC in Santa Ana jail, like, once you go up, it's kind of like you get mixed up unless you PC up there. You know what I mean? So, it's like a lot of girls got to run into each other, whatever beef you guys had, unsettled beef you guys had in, you know, jail, it was bound to get settled there, you know? So it's like I seen some crazy stuff, like the girl, the baby killer, whatever, she was there when I was there. I remember going to chow hall that morning, one morning, and some girls just jumped on her, you know, like they ended up breaking her legs. It was like she ended up in a wheelchair. It was all bad, you know.
Break them all.
Huh?
Should have broken everything.
Everything, huh?
That's not cool. Yeah,
no, it's not. Like, one thing about that is I'm so... No,
I get it.
Not go there with the baby killers because
I
have kids, you know, so it's just, no, that's a no-go. To me, I don't even care what they do to them, you know.
For sure.
They got everything coming type of thing, you know. But yeah, I guess I've always been raised with respect, you know, and then just being in the streets and stuff like that, there's codes and stuff like that. There's that just respect that you don't disrespect people, you know. Yeah. And you get what you give type of thing. And that's what a lot of girls lacked on A-Yard. You know what I mean? It was just insane. But for the most part, I mean, my time was smooth there, you know, up until I hit the wall. You know what I mean? Over the wall.
Why? What happened when you hit over the wall?
I ended up in a really chill room. You know, it's like with older
cool.
women, like, you know what I mean? They kind of took me up under their wing, and it was, you know, I'm not going to lie, I was scared, you know? I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where I'm going to end up at. Like, who's
it
going
is
to be
scary.
my roommate, you know? And you hear all these crazy stories about,
Yes.
like, the one thing they would always scare me was, like, you're so pretty, you're going to become somebody's bitch or something, you know? So I'm like, that, you know, like, hell no, that's out, you know? I grew up fighting, so it was like, I'm going to protect myself at all costs. I don't care, you know, the hell? But no, I ended up in a really great room, you know?
For the prior time that you were in Chowchilla.
Yeah, I actually wanted to stay, you know? I wanted to stay, but unfortunately they didn't let me, you know? They kind of shipped me out to CIW.
For what reason? Oh, because of your...
Because of my medical condition,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, because of my medical condition. But yeah, the time that I was there, I just hated it because I didn't get visits over there in Chowchilla, just because it was so far. It's up north, you know? So, and then you know how hard it is to get on the phone over there, like, especially on AR. I was there during the holidays and stuff like that. So it was just crazy.
Terrible.
It was horrible, yeah.
I could imagine.
Yeah, I went through it there. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
I could
hard,
imagine.
yeah.
So you get to CIW.
Yeah.
Is that where you did your remaining of your time, which is like 5 years, 6 years?
Yeah. I ended up doing all my time.
Tell us what was the difference when you first arrived to the CIW? Like, how did you compare it?
You know what? I loved it because it was a 2-man cell. You know what I mean? I didn't share a room with, like, you know, 7 different women. It was just a lot. There's a lot more freedom. You know what I mean? Like, there was a lot more to do. I was better. I liked it. You know, I think mostly it's just living with just one other person. I think that's really what, like, I was cool with. Yeah. And then just the liberty of having your door open and walking in and out, you know what I mean? I think also just not, like, always being careful or wondering, like, just respecting just one other person's, you know, a space, not, like, up there. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then I feel like Chowchilla has a lot of, like, girlfriend drama, you know, couple dramas and stuff like that. Like, it's just crazier. I don't know. It's just very different.
You didn't have a girlfriend? You weren't gay for the stay?
I've been gay since I've been out here. I've been bisexual. You know, I had a girlfriend before, you know.
Okay.
One of my co-defendants was somebody I was with before that. Yeah. But yeah, I did. I actually had a girlfriend throughout county. And once I went up, it just
stopped, obviously.
Yeah, I went up there with time, you know, and she was still doing the most. So that didn't work out. And then I ended up being with somebody else there. Like, I just can't stay out of a relationship, you know what I mean?
So you had a girlfriend your 6 months while you were in Chowchilla. Was it a boyish or was it a girly girl?
Boy, yeah, she was like a stud.
You like studs?
Yeah. No, you know what? I was really into girlies, you know, because to me, it's like, if I'm gonna be with a boy-looking girl, I might as well be with a man.
Yeah, right? For sure. But when you're in there, you can't, so.
Yeah, so it's just, I don't know. Yeah, but she was, the one in Maine, she was a girly girl. But the other one was just a stud, yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to her, by the way. She's gonna be watching this.
Oh, she knows you're coming.
Yeah.
So you're still friends?
Yeah, we're still friends.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, we're still friends. It didn't work out. We were together for like 3 years. We did the whole, what's it called? Prison marriage ceremony thing.
Oh,
you know, it's like we were that glue couple.
Okay, well, wait, tell us about the prison ceremony thing.
God.
How does that go?
It was,
I never did anything like that, so, you know, tell us.
No, so, I mean, honestly, I wasn't planning on it. You know, it was just kind of like, because we were really great friends. That's the whole thing. And, like, I didn't want to ruin that, you know? And, you know, once you become a couple, it's just, the friendship.
Girls are just so dramatic,
They are. They require, you know what? Men and women are all the same. Like, I hate when people are like, oh, no, it's better being with a woman. Or,
no.
Honestly,
I think it's worse.
They're so emotional. They're so unstable.
We're a mess. We are a mess.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about your wedding ceremony in jail.
So I ended up, okay, so what had happened was, let me tell you then. Because it all led to this. She ended up playing me like 3 months into our relationship. I ended up going out to LA County, to Linwood, to fight another case, right? So I left for like 3 months, I think, 2-3 months. Well, during that time, end up getting a letter from her saying that, you know, she was seeing somebody else, and that she had cut out. But this was like 2 weeks before I came back.
She wrote and told you.
Yeah, you know, so I'm just like, at this point, I'm mad because it's like, girl, you just begged me to be with you. Like, you kept being on my butt. Like, you know what I mean? Give me a chance, crying and stuff like that. So I finally give her a chance. girl, I left for like 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying?
You couldn't even hold it down?
Yeah, but the thing is, I told her before I left, like, if you want to do your thing, do your thing. Like, I'm not tripping.
But you didn't expect her to do her thing.
Yeah, but I mean, she could have told me. I would have
Yeah.
been like, okay, well, when I come back, we'll pick up where we left off, type of thing. But no, she wanted to have cake and eat it too, type of thing, I guess, whatever. So I end up coming back. Well, when I come back, getting off the bus or whatever, like I'm in my muumuu and stuff like that, the little outfit that they put on you.
Because it's true. You guys do travel with muumuus.
Yes.
Well, in the Feds, you don't. So
because you were in the
I never been to
Feds,
state,
huh?
yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we travel in muumuus. They're ugly. They're like these long, old lady, like, light blue with polka dot dresses.
I know. I'm down with those vibes.
It was just, oh God. So mind you, I'm getting off. I'm walking with my stuff or whatever, and she greets me there. But mind you, at this point, it had been already 2 weeks. So I was like, at first, I was like, when I get home, I'm going to beat her ass, like it's a wrap, this and that. So at this point, I calmed down or whatever. I was just over it. So when I get there, she greets me with the ring. Right, so I'm like, girl, typical.
Like a real ring?
Yeah, it was it was like a real ring. How did she get it?
Rings in the commissary or what?
No.
She went out of her way for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she ends up getting me this ring, whatever. So I kind of look at her and I'm just like, all right, whatever. I missed you, type of thing, whatever. She kept it real with me. She told me whatever. So at this point, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Well, when I get there, I end up going to my room with my roommate. My roommate was a lifer or whatever. The first thing I hear, oh, did you hear what so-and-so was doing? Did you know that so-and-so did? So I just start hearing it all. Mind you, it's a small yard. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like, it's like a whole little community.
No, I understand.
Everybody knows everybody's business. And everybody knew about her and I. So it was just like...
You guys were 3 years.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, we managed to be together that long, So at this point, she's showing me how sorry she is and how remorseful she was.
And wait, did you see the girl there?
Well, she stopped coming out when I got there.
Wait, she didn't come out? Oh, scary.
She was staying in her unit. And I wanted her to come. Because at this point, I wasn't mad at her. I wasn't mad at the girl. I was mad at this one because she didn't owe me nothing. I don't know her, She didn't know me. But then come to find out is that she did know about me. She knew that, like,
she was waiting for your ass to leave.
Type of thing. She had just gotten off the bus when I left. Type of, how right there the bus comes like every week, like dropping off,
picking up.
Yeah. So it's like she had heard of me. They had already told her, like, hey,
this girl has a girl.
Yeah, she's got a girl and like she's
gonna come back.
Crazy. She's gonna come back and it's gonna be a problem, Well, obviously she didn't care. So, yeah, when I came back, there's, like, different units. There's, like, they're like Harrison, whatever, They're different units. So, when I got back, she stayed in her unit, and she didn't come out. And, like, I wanted her to.
So, you never even seen her?
No, I ended up seeing her because she worked in commissary.
Ah, so she had a good job.
Yeah, she had a good job. But it's funny because when I see her... Yeah, she was serving my commissary. No, but when I seen her, she had black eyes. So I was like, what? What's going on? Well, I guess she was just drama. Like, she had all this drama already. She was just everywhere, So I remember, like, she still had the nerve to send her, like, an I miss you when I got there. Like, and she comes and she tells me, I'm like, okay, well, you're going to go take off on her now. Like, you're going to go fight her. So I did. I sent her to go fight her.
She fought her. Mm-hmm. And she had the black eyes.
Well, she had black eyes from a previous fight, I guess.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so it was just all bad. But anyways, we ended up, she ends up asking me to marry her, whatever. So I'm like over here trying to make it work and all these things, So we ended up like actually creating like a real life like ceremony, like a marriage ceremony there. We got married on the yard, we invited everyone. We even made we had somebody make us like little flowers out of like, toilet paper, the little cute things or whatever. And it was really good. Like we even made like little invitations, it was funny. Now that
you think about it, it's super cool, right? Like it's, it's cool. Like, it's not really cool, but it's like you're going through it and you think about the memories and you're like, oh my goodness, the things that we do.
But her and I went through everything together in there. Like literally, we got into fights together. Like we went to shoot together. We just did everything together after that. It's like I try to like forgive her for that, but it was I hold grudges. I'm not going to lie. I do. And I just didn't get over a lot of the things, So I kind of started like doing things,
to piss her off?
Yeah, not really like to throw it in her face, but like I wasn't loyal to her afterward. You know, it was just kind of like, yeah, after marriage. Yeah, it was a pretty cool little ceremony though. I'm not gonna lie. Like everybody came out, you know, and like celebrated. It was pretty cool. And you know how they have like the prison families? I don't know if they have this in the feds, but right there's like you get to play mom and play dad, you know, play brother, sister, cousin, uncle, grandpa, whatever, everything, you know, everybody, you know. So, you know, it eventually becomes a whole thing where like you got to be careful who you mess with type of thing, you know, because you never know who they're running with and where they're from and all these other things, you know. So it was just, I was running with like the crowd that just had it going on at the time, you know, and it was pretty dope though. It was like my time honestly was kind of.
You guys made a super spread that day. What did you guys make to eat?
Yes,
because I know you guys had a
spread, nachos. The good thing, my bunkie, she had a what is it called, the stingers. And the cant where you can like cook fried food. So it's like, girl, we had it going on that day. It was pretty good. We ate bomb. Yeah. People gave us little gifts. Like it was so good. It's crazy. Like the things that they come up with in there. It's crazy. It's like a whole community in itself. It's insane.
It is. Mm-hmm. What was the craziest thing you saw at the CIW?
Oh my God.
Wait, hold on. Before you answer that, you said you were fighting a lot in there. That's why you gained more time. Or how did you get more time?
I ended up catching a whole case.
Oh, tell us about it.
Okay, so I ended up, her and I ended up catching a whole case. You know, it just, I don't know what it was about, like, you know, for some reason, the black folks did not like her. You know what I mean? Like, I just got along with everybody. You know, I don't gangbang. I don't, you know, it was whatever. I was cool with everyone. Well, a lot of them were cool with me or whatever. And for whatever reason, it just, with her, they didn't buy it. They just always had an issue with her. So it became a thing where like, one of the girls wanted to fight her or whatever and things like that. We felt disrespected. So we ended up trying to fight her. You know what I mean? And this was about to be during count time, like at like 3-4-ish. Yeah, 3-4-ish. So, you know, she's running her mouth, wooty, whatever. So there's a point where I just run down the hallway because I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of your mouth. I'm over it. Let's go, you know? So I'm running towards her to like fight her. And I ended up, I don't know if I hit the officer. I don't know if I pushed the officer out of the way. I don't remember, but because she was locking doors, you know what I mean? I kind of just seen red and like I flew down the hallway and I hit her, I guess, you know? So obviously they ended up.
That was an assault.
Yeah, that was an assault on an officer. So I guess she did the same thing. I don't know. I guess because she knew I was going to go, you know what I mean? She was like.
She ran after you.
Like me too, you know? So yeah, we caught the case together. They locked us away. We were in there for almost a year. Like, yeah.
Were you guys roommates?
We ended up being roommates, yeah. We fought to like get settled up together.
Oh, because you guys were married.
Who else is gonna be her roommate, right?
So tell us about the year you were in the shoe for a year.
Yeah,
how was that adjusting to that? Because obviously you're used to your freedom,
right?
Doing whatever you want. Right. There, you don't have commissary anymore as much. You just get what you get. You get your hygienes, and that's it.
Yes, yeah, and then mind you, you don't come out. You're locked down 23 hours a day. You literally only come out for an hour to shower, to day room, and to like, you know what I mean, to do whatever,
move around really quick.
Whatever you have to do, yeah. And you're literally handcuffed everywhere you go. You know what I mean? You're chained up like from the waist, you know, to your wrist and your feet. So it's like even if we want, and then if we want to go to day room, it's like we're in cages. Like there's little different cages where you have to sit inside and they lock you in there, and it's like you watch TV from there type of thing, you know. Or if you want to come out to like program or whatnot, like you only come out for that little, hour or so. And you're like chained up to like
wherever you're
sitting at. And there's like those glass dividers between you guys. So you guys don't, fight or whatever. But we still managed to get into a fight back there too. You know what I mean? Like going over it was insane. You know what I mean?
Did you do that?
Yeah.
Tell us.
It was just... You know, now that I think about it and I think about these fights, they're so ridiculous. You know what I mean? Because it's like, we don't have nothing to do. I think we're just bored and we're frustrated and irritated, you know? And it all came, again, I was cool with this girl, but this girl didn't like her. So obviously her beef was my beef automatically. That's just how we wrote, you know? So I remember this girl ends up like barking at her, telling her all kinds of stuff or whatever. Well, I was closer to her, you know? So I'm like, I hate doing that arguing thing. Like, I really hate it. And you know, back there in SHU, it's like these girls literally get up under their doors and start screaming and like arguing with each other. Like, if you're like, let's say you have somebody on this side, right? It's kind of like a U in there, right? So let's say I'm on this side and somebody I can't stand is on this side. Well, we can see each other, like from the doors or whatever. We can manage to see each other, or we can hear each other. So now here starts the arguments.
Everybody's
screaming. Oh, that used to drive me nuts.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't do that. There's no point of me doing that, you know, because I can't get to you, like, you know. And I'm not good with like my fighting words. I'm not. I'm more of like, let's just
do it.
What's up, you know? So I remember like just. They were like getting me up or whatnot. Well, this girl manages to like try to like spit. Oh, girl, that's the most disrespectful thing ever, you know? So I just remember like flying over to her. Like I said I wanted to go back in the room or something like that. And I flew over the chair or whatever, the glass thing, everything to try to get her. Obviously, I missed her because she like scooted back or whatever. But it was just...
Going through the whole process of you trying to get to her was intense.
It was. Like my wrists were all like... cut up, you know, my legs were hurting. It was just so pointless, you know what I mean? But I just needed to show her, like, no, stop running your mouth, like, you know? And, yeah, they locked me in, girl, and stuff like that. But, you know, just having to go into those showers, like, all the time. You have, like, literally, like, 15 minutes to go in and out, you know? Like, I had long hair. So it's like I needed to wash my hair, too, you know? And then
I take really fast showers. I don't take longer than 15 minutes, like, ever. I just can't. So, I mean, like, I'm...
You're quick, yeah.
It's just... And I've always had long hair. It's just... I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's because of a whole going to jail since you're young. For me, at least, like, you know, like, it's just... I take quick showers. I can't take long showers.
Really?
I hate that.
See, I mean, I love my baths and then I shower. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, now I don't. You know, obviously with the 1-year-olds, it's so hard. But back then I used to love taking my baths and then showers, you know? So it's like I take 30, 40 almost hour shower.
I can't.
Yeah, I think that's just my me time.
Yeah.
You know, having kids and stuff like that, that's literally just my time to get my thoughts together. And
For
things
sure,
like that.
for
Yeah.
sure.
So it's like when I couldn't anymore, it was horrible. Like I
Yeah.
literally had to learn how to shower like in 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick shit.
And then there's like lines and yeah, it's just too much, you know. And then them waking you up early to eat and girl, no. I became so lazy in there, you know.
Did you work out while you were in there?
No.
Ever? Oh, so you didn't work out at all throughout your whole term?
Oh. I didn't need to. Like I was, you know, I was skinny. I was like, you know, I was good. I felt good, you know. So I didn't really feel like I needed to. You know, I was in shape. I mean, I was stripping and like I was, you know, I was natural. I don't have nothing done, obviously, you know, but I'm working on that now. But yeah, so it's like I don't know. I got really lazy in there. I'm telling you, like, because it was, and at the main, you don't do anything. You're locked. Okay, I was in general pop for like a month before I got in a fight, and they took me out to like, you know, the 2-man cell type of thing, and. Yeah, even then it's just kind of like I just slept. You know, I got so depressed. I slept. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to do anything. You know what I mean? It. Yeah. But then I, you know, started eating and kind of gaining weight. And as soon as I would see myself gaining weight, like I went back to just using, you know, in there too.
Oh, so, you used in there?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was still using in there.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really sad. You know, because it's just... You know, as a lot of people don't understand that, like, addiction is a disease. You know what I mean? A lot of people feel like, oh, well, you can quit. Like, if you really wanted to, you can. Yes, you really can. If you have the willpower to do so, you will. You know, I'm obviously clean now, you know, but when you're in an environment like that and everyone around you is just getting high or drinking, you know, mind you, hooch was being made at that time, you know, I either replaced one with the other, you know. Missing my kids and just being far away from home. And this is my first time experiencing anything like this. I had never been away from home. I've never been away from my kids, nonetheless, you know? And it was just, I guess it was like, it's always been my escape. And I hated that, you know what I mean? Because, you know, like my mom, you know, went through what she went through as a child as well. And she never, you know, went unused.
I get what you mean.
You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I think her addiction is work. She's always worked so much to kind of like,
cope.
You know what I mean? So it's like everybody has an addiction. You know what I mean? It's addictions are very different for some.
I get it.
You know? So I feel like, unfortunately, I used, and that was like my addiction. That became my addiction, you know? And yeah, even in there, it was just, like I said, it was easy to get it. So it was something I did. And that's when I remember telling you earlier that's when I found out about heroin. And I became a heroin addict in there.
Oh, wow. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so I remember the first time I used was in Maine, when I was in Santa Ana. And, just seeing like the girls that I was hanging out with and stuff like that, I would see them like just feeling good or whatnot. I'm over here like, well, I want to try it too, type of thing. I want to know what that
Yeah,
feels like.
you have an addictive personality. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
So I'm, mind you, I was just using meth at the time or whatever. And, they used to call me baby lifer because I was looking at life at the time, So I just didn't really care about anything at that point. I felt like I honestly was giving up. I was just kind of like, that's it. Like, I'm getting put away. And then finding out that my codies were telling on me, it was just like, that's it. I'm done. I'm washed up, So I just really didn't care for much anymore. And I guess that was just me justifying my actions of me wanting to use and stuff like that. And I remember the girl, I'll never forget.
I love that you say that. I love that you say you realize that it was just you justifying.
Yeah, definitely. Like, people don't like to take accountability. You know what I mean? They like to just point the finger and just justify everything they do. You know what I mean? And yeah, I did that too. You know what I mean? But there comes a point in time where you're just kind of like, you realize that you're just justifying it. You're using an excuse to do what you're doing,
Yes.
But there comes a point in time where you have to grow up and take accountability for what you do.
For sure.
And I'll never forget, right? This girl, she would tell me like, no, I don't want to give you any. Like, you're not getting that. You can keep doing whatever you're doing, but I'm not going to give you this. I'm not going to be the one, you know what I mean, to feel guilty for doing this to you.
I know exactly what she means. That was me.
Yeah.
That was me. If I knew you never used meth, I'm not going to give you any.
Right. So that's how she felt about heroin, and she was just like, no, I don't care. So she would literally tell everybody not to give me any. And if she found out, she was going to take off on them type of thing, And I was just kind of like, okay, well, if you don't give it to me, I'm gonna get it somewhere else then, type of thing, So eventually, she gave in because she's like, if you're gonna, she's like, fine, if you're gonna use, I'd rather take care of you. I'd rather me be the one that's right here with you than someone give you something that is not, or you OD off of somebody else's stuff, whatever, So eventually she did. And it's crazy because the first time I didn't like it. The way it made me feel, like I literally...
Because you're an upper.
Yeah, and I was just down. I was laying in my bed. I was throwing up. I literally even felt like we were going to chow, and I damn near passed out in the line. You know what I mean? I got, how that feeling, you get so hot and you start sweating, like, and you just start,
hot flashes.
Yeah, it was horrible. And I remember just her grabbing me and was like, oh my God, get up, like, we have to go to chow type of thing. It was horrible. I ended up recovering for a few days. I guess I did more than what I had to, or I was supposed to, that my body couldn't handle it. And the thing is that I have a high tolerance, you know what I mean? Like, well, when it came to meth, like, I used to, back in the days, I used to slam, So it was,
A lot.
Yeah.
I that's something I've never done. I smoked meth for like 15 years. I used meth for 15 years. And I did never slam because I was afraid that I was going to like it too much.
Yeah. Unfortunately for me, I was with someone that slammed, and he kind of got me into that, And it became a thing where, like, he couldn't slam himself, so I used to slam.
Oh my goodness.
Slam him up for him, or whatever. But that was out here, that was way before I got arrested and stuff like that. And it was just, I went downhill. I literally went downhill. Oh my goodness,
I could imagine. Honestly, yeah. I could imagine.
It was horrible. It was the worst thing of my life. Like, nothing compares to that, And I've always told people, like, if you've never slammed, just don't do it, Just like literally
just don't do anything, guys.
Don't do anything at all. Seriously.
Honestly, life is so much better when you're clean and sober.
Yeah.
Well, so I drink and I smoke weed, right? But I'm not doing. I'm not down to try new things. I'm not even down to do edibles because I don't know how it's gonna make me feel.
Right.
Like, things like that. So.
See, I don't even smoke weed because I don't like it. I used to. When I was younger, I could do it, like with my baby's dad, I used to be like a, stoner and stuff like that. But now I can't. Like, I feel so slow, and
which is
I
good.
don't like how it gets me out.
Well, I don't smoke, like, if I have to come film, like, I don't do it like that.
Yeah.
It's just on my downtime where if I'm out, like, at a little concert, just to change my little vibe for a second.
Yeah.
But nothing major.
And to each their own,
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'll socially drink, you know what I mean? But that's it.
Well, good for you. Good for you. However, whatever works, you know what I'm saying? So you started doing heroin in jail.
Yeah, and girl, it got so bad to the point where I started kicking. You know, like for the first time ever, I knew what kicking was. Like I used to see the girls coming in at the main, you know, like I used to see them like literally kick. I'd never understood like why is she hitting herself? Like why is she crying or why is she acting
Is that why
like
they're calling it kicking?
Yeah, because it's like, how can I explain it? It's like your body's going through this withdrawal. It's so physically painful. Like, I can't even like, you're literally throwing up, taking a poop at the same time. Like, your body is physically hurting you. Like, because your body needs it now. Like, I was doing
understand.
so much to the point where like your body needs it. Like you don't even go through that with meth. Like, it's way
You just
different.
sleep.
Yeah, but with this, no, like your body literally like requires for you to keep using. That's why it's so hard for heroin addicts to just let it go.
Yeah.
It's not that easy. And trust me, like I hated it. Like there was a point in time where I was just kind of like, I don't want to use anymore. But because I was already so deep in it, you know what I mean? That
And this was just while you were in mainline.
This was and in prison. I was already in prison too.
Oh,
yeah.
so you used prison and meth. I mean, use prison and meth.
Heroin
and in prison as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Throughout your whole prison term.
I used up until like a little bit before I left, before I was supposed to get out. I had gotten clean because I knew I was coming home. You know what I mean?
So you did try to do something for yourself once you were. That's probably why your ass didn't work out and didn't do anything, bitch.
Yeah. So
hell no.
Something. Yeah. No, well, there was a point, like, I want to say, like, the year before I came home, like, I just started drinking. We were making hooch, whatever, or I was buying it, whatever, and I was just drinking in there. And it's so crazy how hooch really gets you drunk.
No, it
like,
fucks you up. For sure.
Yeah, it depends who made it. Like,
it's just intense.
It's crazy, you know?
Yeah.
So I was just, like, drinking that, as nasty as it would taste, but whatever.
How did you kick? Like, when did you decide? I know you say when you were getting ready to come home, like, when did you decide, like, you know what, that's it. I'm going to come home with my kids, and you can't go home all shut out.
Right,
like, you don't deserve your kids.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that was my thing. Like, I thought about that. And, like, I'm telling you, like, it was, like, right a year before me coming home that I was just kind of like, okay, it's time for me to grow up. I ended up doing the SAP program, like the substance abuse program. I graduated from that and everything. They test you. I don't remember if it was every month. But they test you, I think, like, or every 2 weeks or whenever. It's just a random, testing or whatever. So obviously I stopped using then. Like I said, I just replaced it with drinking and things like that. And I just started getting right. I completed like my criminal thinking classes. I started making a big
You started working on yourself.
Mm-hmm. I did. And that's when I started taking counseling and I realized what was going on with me. I spoke on everything that was bothering me. That's how I was able to let go of my past. Just kind of accept accept what it was and just let it be. That's then, this is now,
Mm-hmm.
And I think I just always like, again, justified like everything I did because of what I went through, and it was just kind of like, there was like this realization where I was just kind of like, okay, grow up already. Like, you have 2 kids that depend on you. Like, get your ass clean and let's go home,
Yes.
And that's really what it was, Yeah. So
well, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Because you just did it and you set your mind to it.
Hard. But yeah, I did it.
I'm sure it's hard. I mean, it's not easy. You know what? Being on the right path is the hardest thing in life. Now, slacking off and not doing anything is the easiest shit,
ever.
So being in the streets, it ain't for the weak. People say,
really not.
people go back in and out. That's for the weak. Now, I'm not saying like people are in there for the week, but when you have a life term and you've been there for 20 years, it's a different story.
Right.
But if you're in and out, like, bro, get out of here.
Right.
You're a weak ass fool.
Like, when do you get tired? Yeah. Like, what? Yeah.
And I'm not talking shit, guys. Oh, weak ass fools in and out. But I mean, take it how it is. Like, if you can't live in the real world is hard.
It's hard.
And nobody's going to do nothing for you. Like, why? What makes you think people are going to do things for you?
Exactly.
Especially when you have 2, 3, 4 kids. Like, what the heck?
Right.
It's no respect for you.
Right.
Because you don't care.
Right.
If you don't care about you and your kids, then why should anybody care for you?
Right.
No,
yeah.
And no disrespect towards
shit.
anybody. I'm just saying,
No, that's real. That's honestly like the realest thing you could ever say, because it is easier to be in there than it is out here. In there, you don't have responsibilities. You can do or you can't do. You know what I mean? You could choose to continue, getting high and continue doing this, slacking, messing up, while your family's out here your kids are getting taken care of by their grandparents, their baby's mom, whoever it is, or their baby dad, whoever, you know what I mean? And you're just in there chilling,
Yeah, and then you want to come home and think like you deserve the world.
And it doesn't work like that. Like that's one thing about me. Like I said, I took accountability for what I did.
Good for you.
I did my time, I paid my dues, and I got out and I did better.
Good
it's
for
like when
you.
you know better, you do better type of thing.
So how long have you been out for?
I've been out for, September was 3 years.
Well, good for you.
3 years already.
Good for you. And where are you at now?
Now, so I started, I mentioned earlier, I lost my sister 8 months ago due to domestic violence.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. Her ex-boyfriend, murdered her. My mom found her in his apartment. So we started a nonprofit foundation called Morelli's Legacy Foundation. And this was her. I wear
Beautiful.
her everywhere I go.
She's beautiful.
Thank you. She was only 24. So we say forever 24. We just celebrated her heavenly birthday back in September 26th. I'm working.
September 22nd.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Aw, yeah. She was my September 26th baby. And then my son, September 28th.
Okay.
Yeah, so. I'm working on passing a law right now for domestic violence. It's called the Morelli's Law. And I feel like there should have been in place like a public online registration where all domestic violence abusers have to register, just kind of like sex offenders, where we can see the record. You know what I mean? Where they're not able to seal their records. Because unfortunately with him, now we know that he had cases in 6 different states. You know what I mean?
He was an abuser.
He had a long extensive history of doing this for.
Okay, so not just criminal, you mean just domestic violence?
Domestic violence, yes, and stalking, rape, so many other things. You know what I'm saying? Sexually abusing his victims. His ex-girlfriends, whoever. Threatening them, literally in different states.
And your sister looks like she didn't date gangsters.
No. She was a good girl. She was raised in Orange County. She's the reason why we moved out here.
And and sometimes when you say right now you said she's a good girl, so she thinks she's gonna only date good guys because of how they look. And that's why I said that earlier, it was your gangster type. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
Because it's always the ones that don't look like anything.
Exactly.
That think they're better. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, oh no, I'm not gonna ever be like that gangster, but you're choking your wife because you're a lawyer and you can't handle work. Or that's just a figure.
Honestly, yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
It's the ones you literally least expect it. For example, him. He's a white dude, older. He had his shit together. You know what I mean? Business owner, whatever, had a load of money. Comes from money, And where you would see him, it's obviously when we first met him, you could just straight out just see the evil in his eyes.
Oh.
We didn't like him from jump. That relationship only lasted 8 months,
That's
7, 8.
all.
That's all.
Motherfucker.
He started
Is he in
abusing
jail?
him. Yes.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, right now he's in jail. But my whole thing with this law is that because he had money, he was able to seal off his records. The case that he got with my sister back in December, we just found out that he sealed it right away. You know what I mean? So he was out on bail when he committed the crime.
Wow.
Yeah.
And since he had money and he's white, it didn't even...
Yeah. And I hate to make it sound like that, but that's really what it was. You know what I mean? That's just what it was. And like I said, people don't understand because a lot of people say, well, why didn't she just leave? Or why did she go back? Or,
It was only 8 months.
Not just that. My sister had already left him since January. She had left him. She had been moved back in with my mom and things like that. And, obviously you see all these ugly comments, how people are like, oh, because she was young and he had money and blah, 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 he was white, whatever. People don't understand that my sister was a nurse. You know what I mean? She works for Providence. Her thing was always wanting to help people. You know what I mean? So that night that, he called, he was beat up. Completely beat up. He had just gotten jumped for being racist, So when my sister seen him, she got scared, So she's like, oh, let me go help him. Let me go tend to him, She was being a friend, I guess. You know what I mean? To somebody that she had feelings for, And, unfortunately, he took advantage of that and he did what he did, because to him, it was like she wasn't going to be with anybody else. He literally obsessed over my sister. It was insane.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Yeah. So now I'm working on that. I'm really trying to get this law going, and, we continue to help victims of domestic violence, just
There's
for
a
me
lot.
being a domestic violence survivor myself, my mom,
Your mom, yep.
now we're advocates, and, we're trying to make a change now. I feel like I'm not, no, I don't feel like, I know I'm not letting my sister's death be in vain,
That's right.
So I feel like this should have been in play a long time ago, because it's crazy to see how many people go through domestic violence. You know what I mean? And it's like, we got to put a stop to it now.
Yeah, it's
You know
time.
what I mean? It's time. It's that time. I think the last thing that was passed was like Marcy's Law. And that's like to help the victims of domestic violence, And this is something I'm trying to do now before, like to prevent people from becoming victims.
I get
type
it.
of thing. Yeah.
For sure. So you
So,
know.
Yeah. So I'm working with that. Again, we're court is still ongoing. You know what I mean? We're starting trial in February, hopefully, fingers crossed. We show up at every court date. We've given our victim impact statements to make sure that this man stays put, Just the crazy
Yes.
thing about it is he won't take accountability, obviously. It's like he keeps fighting not guilty. He's kept trying to bail out. I think he's tried like 7 times already, and this was his last time. And they've
Wow.
denied him. I don't know if you've seen the case of Judge Ferguson. He was like an Orange County judge that ended up killing his wife. Well, he was one of the judges that had been
Helping
assigned to my
him.
sister's case. No, yeah, he had been assigned to my sister's case, and he granted him no bail. So we had to go back to court because his defense team tried to use that, like,
To help him out.
yeah, to be like, oh, well, he probably felt guilty because of what was going on in his personal life, that he decided not to give him bail or whatever,
I
So
mean,
it
well,
was
you
just
should feel
intense.
guilty.
Yeah, it was just intense. It was just
I
like
get it.
it's been a
I'm
whole
sorry
process.
that you and your
Yeah.
family have to go through that, and you're still going to continue to go through that, especially because
Yeah.
you don't have your sister, and everything is just it's the feeling that doesn't ever go away,
Right.
And you guys both experience domestic violence as well, so it's hard.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, and I think that's what brought me to like the commenting on, you were talking to someone about guilt, and I was telling you how like I think now, I mean, I used to feel guilty before, but after speaking to my sister, because I had to let her, grow up by herself pretty much. I left when she was like becoming a teen and things like that. So she was never resentful with me, like about it, but I know it was hard on her, And I think now, only having have been in her life for only 3 more years, like after I got out, it was just like something that's I've been
Dealing with.
dealing with, So I think that's where like that guilt comes from. But I'm working on it.
You
Like
got this.
I've been going to counseling, grieving counseling, but that one hasn't quite helped me. You know what I mean? So I'm looking for something else right now. But I'm dealing and I'm coping, and I started like I said, the foundation, and I've gotten the great help.
Good.
Lily's one of them. She was like one of the members on there. I have a few other members. Shout out to them always for helping me and keeping me on my toes too. Honestly, because you need a team.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you can't do everything by yourself.
No.
So that's what we've been doing, We have our Justice for Morelli, Instagram page, and that's where I keep everyone updated. We do events, things like that,
Okay.
fundraisers and all of that.
Well,
So it's like, yeah,
we're gonna plug in all your
Thank
all
you.
your information and stuff like that.
yeah.
Well, is there anything else that you would want to share before we leave?
No, I just want to say thank you so much for
No,
having
thank
me. It feels
you.
great, to tell my side. I've never, been able to tell my side. It's always been what, media had said or whatever, people say and things like that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been through,
Well, thank you for sharing.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Of course. All right, guys. Well, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram.
Bye.